This is Stephen with Junior Achievement of North Florida. This is lesson 2, part of our entrepreneurship program called JA It's My Business for our middle school students. Students, so glad to have you here today. As a reminder, in lesson 1, we learned all about entrepreneurs and their various characteristics that they have and even develop from a young age. And the cool thing about today is that lesson 2 is called Market and Need. And so where you are going to be looking into the lives of a couple of young entrepreneurs, similar age to you when they started their own business. And you'll even be creating your very own teen club. And so we'll talk a little bit more about that in the lesson. All you need in this lesson specifically is just maybe a few pieces of paper, blank pieces of paper, and then also a writing utensil. This could be Sharpie, marker, pen, pencil. It doesn't really matter. It's whatever you have and that you want to be creative with, okay? As a reminder, here at Junior Achievement, we focus on 3 pillars: financial literacy, work readiness, and also entrepreneurship. So we have plenty of resources available on our website, www.janfl.org. So students, let's go ahead and get started. Here is our first slide. It's called Identifying a Market. So remember, in lesson 1, we learned about entrepreneurs, how they are business starters, they are business owners, and they provide within their company products and then also services. We looked into really Amazon as an example, how Jeff Bezos created this company and where he provides a product with an Amazon Kindle, Amazon Echo, Amazon Fire TV, but then also a service with Amazon Prime Shopping where you get 2 days free shipping. So we have that example. And so as an entrepreneur, as someone who starts a business, you really have to figure out what exactly are you going to be doing. And so the question's on the screen. What is one of the first things entrepreneurs must think about when they start a business? Think about it. I mean, honestly, what am I going to sell? What am I passionate about? A big question as well is, how much money am I going to be in need of to start this business? Is this going to be a virtual market? Is this going to be a brick and mortar store? There are a lot of questions that entrepreneurs must go through. And so students, you also are going to be figuring out the specific market for teens today. So go ahead and put your entrepreneurship hat on. It is going to be a lot of fun. Okay. So students, another part of being an entrepreneur is making sure that even though if you have a great idea, that is absolutely wonderful. If there is no market, if there's no people that are actually interested in your specific product or service, it's not going to really go well. So we have to dream big, but at the same time, we have to be practical in what we are creating because we want this to be essential to people's lives. All right. And so as you start thinking of your very own product or service, you'll need to determine the market and also the need for your clientele. And so we're going to go through some definitions. And so our very first one is called fill a need. And as I said before, when you're starting a business, you really have to ask a question: what problem am I trying to solve? We remember the company Tom's and how they saw a need where students in South America did not have shoes. So they created their company in the premise that if someone buys a pair of shoes, then another pair of shoes is provided to a child in need. So we have problems all throughout this world. And so it's really figuring out what problems exist and what role can you actually play. All right. So we have fill a need when an entrepreneur offers a product or a service. And then you really have to figure out who will use this product. Thinking locally here in Jacksonville, Florida, we all know that we've been going through COVID-19 and things have been shutting down, including schools and businesses, and the landscape of our lives has completely shifted and changed. And so one example is there's a local bake shop. And so typically, obviously, with people coming in and sitting down before COVID, Now they had to completely shift their frame of thought on how they are going to provide food for people. And so what they did, they actually shifted into where they are not going to have sit down or dining in, but they actually made their little bakery into a grocery store because they saw a need that a lot of people were desiring toiletries, various products that are running out inside of the grocery store. And so what they saw is, wow, we can actually use a provider, even though it's not really the same as making goods, we can actually turn our little shop into a grocery store. So that's one example how people have actually changed because they saw a different need and how they could actually fill it. So students, like I said before, who are the people, what is your market that you're going to be targeting? And so this is our next definition, target market. Now, this is a group of potential customers who need the product or service and are willing to pay for it. And thinking about that example about that little bakery shop who changed into a small grocery store, they knew that their target market was their neighborhood, the people who actually live in the same neighborhood as the little bakery shop. And so they had to cater to what the people were desiring or what the people were actually in need of. So we have that example. We obviously have the examples of grand entrepreneurs and their massive companies, but students, it's really not too far-fetched to know that there are some young entrepreneurs. These are young people who actually started their very own business. And the desire is for you to actually be inspired and say, this is a possibility. Even in middle school, it is a possibility to actually start your very own business. So we're going to go over 3, but there's absolutely tons of more young entrepreneurs that you could actually look into. And the very first one that we're going to be looking into is Mikayla Ulmer. Now, what she did is she made this company called Me and the Bees Lemonade. Okay, so she was 10 years old, only 10 years old. So that's even younger than middle school. And she created this lemonade that actually aids in digestion, and she gives some of the profits to help honeybees. So this idea was so profound and helpful to the people who need digestive aids. And so she received an investment from Damon John of Shark Tank, and her lemonade is now sold in Whole Foods markets. Only 10 years old. This is one example of a young entrepreneur who saw a need, people who need digestive aid, and then also wanted to provide care and also funding to help protect bees. Amazing. All right, let's check out our next young entrepreneur. This guy up here on the stage at a TEDx conference is called Eric Thinman. And so he's from Idaho. He was 15 years old at the time, and he was trying to figure out what is he really passionate about inside of school. He didn't really, he wanted to think beyond just the traditional subjects. And so he is a smart young guy. He actually invested into a cryptocurrency called Bitcoin and became very wealthy at a very young age. And then as a result of this money, he didn't just keep it for himself. What he did, he actually started his very own company called Botangle. It's Botangle, Botangle. And this is an educational site. And this is where he connects educators and various resources through online learning. So if a student, anybody can use this, if a student isn't really vibing or really not doing that well inside of school with traditional subjects, this website provides an opportunity to create a learning path about something that you are very excited about, something that you're good at, or you just really want to find a lot of interest in. He was only 15 years old when he created this company called Botangle. It connects students and teachers all over the world with various subject matter. 15 years old, unbelievable. And then we have our next young entrepreneur. This is Shubham Banerjee, and he realized at a young age, he was in middle school, that only 10% of 1.3 million blind Americans were only able to read Braille. That is a small percentage, and granted, Technology has increased so people can actually hear words through technology. However, he said that he wanted to help fix that problem. And the Braille printing machine that was on the market currently when he was in middle school was about $2,000. And that was just a little bit too much money for a lot of people who were blind and their families. So what he did, he has that in his hand. He actually created this Braille printing machine, and it took several weeks and a lot of testing and prototypes and some people trying to support him. But he was able to make that Braille printing machine only for $200. So going from $2,000 to now $200, he created this machine to help people. So it's fascinating to see these three examples of phenomenal young people, young entrepreneurs who found a need. They saw something specific that they thought that they could actually help with, and they totally did. And students, we want to encourage you that you can do exactly the same. We want you to be innovative. We want you to solve problems, become a young entrepreneur, just like these young three students. And feel free to Google online young entrepreneurs, and you'll find so many different examples of elementary, middle, and high school students who actually own their very own companies. And the crazy thing is, all these students are actually millionaires now. Isn't that fascinating? So students, on a smaller scale now, we kind of want to put this into practice, okay? So right here on the screen is an example of a building. This is going to be Teen Club. So you are actually going to be creating the inside of this Teen Club. This is the blueprint right here. It's kind of like an L-shaped building, all right? And so market research finds that there is a need for teen clubs. And market research really is just the gathering and evaluating of data regarding customers' preferences for products and also services. And Entrepreneur Magazine predicts that teen clubs, if designed correctly, have the potential to become a successful business. So we know that there is a need. You yourselves are teenagers, and having a place to go to and gather together and have fun and be creative, there is a need for that, even outside of school. So we know that there's a need, and so it's our goal is to see what type of teen club do we want, and it's really up to you as you create your very own. So this is where I need you guys to go ahead and gather your pieces of paper. I have 2 pieces of paper with me, and then also a writing utensil. I just used a pen, okay? And so we are actually going to be using a strategy to create the inside of this teen club. This is called design thinking. This is a really neat tool. It's really honestly similar to brainstorming, just on a little bit more intimate and designed scale. So it's a strategy with innovation. And so a lot of entrepreneurs, this strategy called design thinking. All right, so in design thinking, there are a multitude of steps, as you can see: empathize, define, ideate, prototype, test, and also then implement. It really helps us understand the problem that's in front of us. So empathize, we figure out, why are people desiring this specific product or service? Then we need to define that specific product. Then we need to create ideas of what our teen club will actually be like. We'll then put it into practice along with testing. And then finally, we're going to put it in to full-time action with implementation. So this is a common practice for innovators, entrepreneurs all around the world. It's a step-by-step process. So let's think. We need to figure out, why do people need it? People need community. Teenagers need community, especially during the summertime when schools are out and you may not be involved with any clubs or organizations or sports. A teen club will be the perfect spot for teenagers to go and be together inside of community. And so I think that works well with our definition of a teen club, a place for innovation and also creativity for teenagers like you. Now, here is the time for you to think big. So you can totally pause, but I want to show you kind of like the blueprint for even my teen club and provide you some ideas that could be really helpful for you. Okay, but let me go ahead and just define design thinking real quick. This is a process used to solve complex problems. The thinking is focused not on the problem, but on developing solutions that help create a better future. So let me show you my teen club designs, okay? So we obviously have this picture right here of the teen club. As you can see, it's an L shape. On the outside, we have some cool garden beds. We have some great landscaping, and then also the trees. All right, so I actually created 2 sheets of paper because this is a 2-story building. And so here is mine. I want to make sure that you can see it on the screen. All right. So what you can see is I actually created an L-shaped building just similar that you can see on the screen. And so this is the very first floor. And so you can see I put just like where the garden beds are, this is actually going to be, I actually want to add a covering and where we could add some fans. And this could be like the outdoor eating area. All right, but then inside you can see we have the doorway inside of the club room. We have a front desk so that there's someone there to always accept everybody coming on in. Over here we have examples where classrooms can be. Then we have ping pong table, air hockey. We have elevators to go to the second floor stairwell, and then we have doors to the auditorium. And so over here on this side, I put food trucks. And so because I know that teenagers always need to eat, so I think it would be really cool to even partner with some local food trucks to help stimulate the local economy and help bring various entrepreneurs in providing sustainability for them. So this is the example of the first floor. As you can see, it was trying to think about how we could actually still be educational, but also provide a fun space for teenagers. And so there's more on the second floor I'm going to show you guys, but that's just one example. So feel free, you can actually create this very same design on your piece of paper. And so I want you to think big. And so go ahead and pause this video, take some time to actually think about what type of teen club that you will actually want to create, okay? And then once you're done with the first floor, you can go ahead and press play again. All right, students, welcome back. Hopefully you created your first floor. Let me show you my second floor. For the teen club, is the same exact design. And so over here, we actually have the library and just like a really cool study area and with like different books. Right here, we actually have a music room and then where you can actually practice music or listen to music with some really neat headphones. And then we have a study area over here. And then of course the elevators and also the stairwell. And we have a classroom. So, and the whole goal, and when I'm thinking about having a classroom, is making sure that it's not just obviously for educational things, but I want this to be a place for teenagers to come and innovate and think big and present their ideas to their fellow classmates and to adults and who could actually invest inside of their ideas. So we have air hockey, we have foosball, we have ping pong. So it's a fun place, but also an educational place to help out teens, okay? So those were just some of my ideas, but you can have something totally different. This is the whole premise of that teenagers need a place. That's the problem. They need a place that's outside of school where they can still learn and also have fun in a safe environment. And so this is where you are actually going to create your very own teen club. So feel free, you can pause again and create your second floor. I want you to think big, but I want you guys to really think about the following kind of questions is how are you filling a need? What customer does your teen club meet? Is it a place to gather and talk? Is it a place to do homework? Where should the club be located to meet the greatest need? Where is it located? Know your customer and also your product. Who are your customers? What are their ages? Where do they live? Are they in the city? Is this in a rural area? Are they in the suburbs? And then what products are actually going to sell inside of this teen club? Next, be creative and also innovative. What is special, new, or different about your teen club? How could you improve on one of the club's features to make it stand out from the ordinary? And then what appealing cutting edge element could your club offer? I mean, I'm thinking about a gardening club, an area where you can actually grow plants inside of your very own teen club. What's something new? What's something different that you can actually help create within your teen club? And then last is believe in yourself. What sorts of skills and knowledge do you need to make this product a success? And then how could the necessary skills and knowledge be acquired? So thinking about those kind of questions, really start creating the design for your club. All right, so I have 2 floors. You can make it one grand floor where there's just really high ceilings, but you can totally take my ideas. You can work with them. There is no harm, no foul in that. Just make sure, students, that you are passionate about what you are creating. And so along with that, be passionate, but also we need to make sure that we are being practical. As much as I love thinking really big, we have to make sure, is this necessary? Really thinking about the different possibilities. We could have technology, you could have food and drinks, animals, maybe even clothing and accessories, and a place where you can download or plug in your phone and try out different apps. So the opportunities are endless, but make sure that these are actual practical ways that you can actually aid your clientele, okay? Students, I totally wish I could see your blueprints for these amazing teen clubs. I know that you can actually change the world, and you can actually make a change inside of your community and your society. And so if you think that you have one of the best ideas ever, feel free to work with various adults and see how they can actually help you bring this dream to fruition. So we obviously have this teen club, and you've done a wonderful job, students, about trying to understand the problem and how you can actually fill that need within students. And so well done on this activity. As we wrap up, it's really making sure you're identifying a strong target market, a need. This is the very first step in the process of creating a new product or service. So when thinking about your very own teen club, is what is the need of teenagers inside of your own community? It might differ from city to city, state to state. And so you have to really figure out what is exactly needed within your community. And based on that, that's where you're actually able to create your product or your service. So one person's teen club in Tampa might be really different than one in Jacksonville. It really varies from city to city. Students, you've done a wonderful job participating. Feel free to keep on designing. Even though we end this lesson, this does not mean that you are done innovating and creating. So keep on going. I highly encourage it to you, but you've done a wonderful job filling a need, understanding your market. Students, remember we have all of our resources on www.janfl.org. This is for students, this is for parents, this is for volunteers. So make sure to check out those resources, okay? And we are continuing on with lesson 3 and lesson 4, part of It's My Business. So keep on checking in. We'll see you.